today's episode, we're going to be installing a kill switch for our Predator 212. Now, it already has a kill switch on it, but if you're riding in a configuration such as this, it's actually sitting right here behind the back of the seat. So we're going to be installing it up here close to our steering wheel, and it should make things a little bit easier. I'll show you how the switch works and how to wire it up. We'll use a couple new tools today, and I'll also be showing you my new cup of tea. This one happens to be Sleepy Time Vanilla from Celestial Seasonings. It's got a really good flavor, and one of the main reasons why I'm drinking it is because right now it's actually about 10:30, 10:45 at night. So I'm hoping I can get nice and relaxed. Tomorrow I'll be showing you the tools that we need and all the parts that we'll be using. So I hope y'all stick around, and I'll see you in the morning.
Welcome back. So the tools that we're going to need today are a pair of lineman's pliers, a round or rat tail file, a flat file, a hammer, a center punch, a deburring tool, a screwdriver. It can be Phillips or flathead depending on what kind of switch you use, a pair of combination wire strippers and crimpers, or we can also use an automatic wire stripper. We will also be needing a pair of side cutting pliers, a drill index, and an angle grinder. We will also be needing ear protection. You can use earmuffs or earplugs, and safety glasses. The parts we will be using today are a switch. It can be any kind of switch from a local hardware store as long as it is for 12 volts DC, a ground wire, a power wire, and an assortment of terminals that you may need. We're going to be using several ring terminals and a bullet terminal. Here you can see a picture of the box of tea that we are drinking. Now let's go ahead and get started on the build.
Alright, first thing we're going to do is take this small piece of sheet metal. I think it's probably about 1/8 inch. We're going to find our mounting point. And we're going to take our Sharpie and trace around where we want it to go. We're also going to do this inside circle. That way we can find our center and hopefully try and cut it out and make everything centered. Now there's two ways to cut this piece of metal. We can use a hacksaw with the metal cutting blade, or we can break out the power tools and use this Porter Cable 6-amp 4.5 inch small angle grinder. Yes, I did read the side of the box. I just wanted to make sure I got the title right. I'll open this up and show you how to use it, and we'll get started. Okay, so here's how your angle grinder comes out of the box. There's a red button here on the back. You push that in, it'll stop the whole head assembly from spinning, and you can take this first collar off. And here we have a shield. If you'll notice, there are 3 notches around the side, and there's three little nubs on the inside here. Just line those up with the notch on that head of the unit, and you can rotate it however you need to, and then you just push this clip closed. Sometimes it's a little bit of a tight fit, but should work just fine. So now we're going to take our blade and we're going to put it with the colored surface down, just like that. And we're going to take the other side of our disc with the raised portion facing up, and while we're holding the red button on the back down, we're going to tighten down that disc. And inside the handle that comes with it, you'll see this sticking out. This is actually the wrench that you use to tighten the head down. So again, holding the red button in the back, make sure it's pushed all the way down. You take your wrench, put it right there in those two holes, and then you tighten it down. You don't have to go too tight on it, but you just don't want it to fly off. And that's set up, it's ready to go. So we can use it to cut like this, or if we don't like the position of the head, we can break the head loose by pushing down that little tab. And then we can rotate the head however we want to, and then always make sure you lock it back down. So now we can come at it this way, and we can come at it from this way. So let's go ahead and get started. One quick thing before we use any power tools, we want to make sure that we have proper hearing protection and safety glasses or goggles, or even a face shield if you have one. So I'll get you guys set up so you can watch, and we'll go ahead and get started. Now this is going to be quite hot, so I'm going to take a pair of pliers. I'm just going to twist that and it'll come right off. I'll zoom in and I'll show you how we can trim this up a little bit and get it all nice and neat. So now you can see what we have here. It's all roughed out, and now we just got to take a file to it. Sorry you guys didn't get to see all of that. My memory card got a little bit full, so I had to delete some previous pictures, but the good thing is I had them all saved already. So I'm going to get everything set up and we'll file this down to the proper shape that we need. Since I've got this black line here from where we traced on the outside of our pattern, I'm actually going to go just below that black line. So hopefully everything is going to be set the way we want it to be. We don't want to have any of this metal hanging over the edge. So now you can see we've got everything filed down about where we want it. And what I'm also going to do is take my file and file down the sides. Because if you look, you can see that it's got this little bit hanging over. We don't want that. It's really sharp and it could cut somebody else or even us as we're working on it. So I'm going to get that file down and then we'll go on to the next step. Alright. As you can see, we're all smooth. And the way I did that was I just took the file, and as I was going up, I came over across the top like this. So you go like that. It's a lot easier to do it when you're going faster, but I wanted to make sure you guys can see. Like that. Now we're going to file our corners so they're not quite as sharp. So we're just going to do like that, the same way that we did the other side. See how it's starting to round it. So we're just going to do that for a little bit on both sides, and then we're going to go ahead and start getting our hole cut. Alright, because I don't have a step drill bit, we're going to be using a center punch and a hammer. We're just going to find the center, what we hope is going to be the center. Make sure we've got our safety glasses on. And we're just going to punch it. Once you do that, you'll see that you've got this nice small dent right here. And we're going to use that for the guide for our drill bit. So our particular switch tells us that we're going to need a 7/16 hole. Now I know I don't have a 7/16 drill bit, so I'm going to have to use a different bit and then a round file or rat tail file to finish up the rest. Now because I'm not using a step drill bit, we're going to start off with 7/64, 3/16, and then 3/8, which if you do the math would end up being 6/16, which is just a little bit shy of our 7/16. So we would just need to take a little bit more material off after we use this. So with my eyes and ears on, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Alright, now our hole is drilled. We're going to use what's called a deburring tool, and this removes all of the burr from the edge of our hole. So I'll show you what it looks like before and after. So here before, you can see there's a little bit of an edge, and then you've got this little piece of metal sticking off of the back side. So we're going to put this in our vise again. And focus. And we're just going to stick the tool right here on this side and twist it just like you would a screw. See, it removes the majority of the rough spot there. Should remove that little extra piece of material from our edge right here. There we go, nice and smooth. Now, obviously we still have to drill it out, or we still have to file it out a little bit more, but my battery's dying, so I will charge the battery and come back, and then I'll finish up getting our plate ready. To install our switch, we're going to come up from the bottom of our hole that we have here. I'm going to put our plate down. This plate's just acting pretty much as a very big washer. That's all it's really, all the purpose is for it really. You have your on-off label. You can see that there's a small notch. You can see that there's a small tooth right here. And that's going to slide right into the corresponding notch on the bottom of the switch. Then we just drop our little nut on there, and then tighten it down. Alright y'all, that's all we have time for today. One important safety thing that you should remember is anytime you're inside working and you need to run your engine, make sure you open your garage door and your back door. That way you don't get any carbon monoxide. So if this engine's running, it's producing exhaust which has carbon monoxide in it and it's very, very deadly. So make sure that when you're operating these engines, you're in a well ventilated area. If you have any fans, you can turn those on as well and get the exhaust fumes out of the garage even faster. Or you could even work outside if the weather's good enough. Right now it's probably about 33, 35 degrees. So it's a little bit cold to be working outside for me. But just be safe wherever it is you're working. Appreciate you guys joining again for this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to know when the next video comes up, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. Y'all have a great day. If you have any advice, tips, and tricks, or any questions or comments, please let me know in the comment section below. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you later.